And we are live. Do this. It is time to do this. I am actually really pumped up about today's show. The RNC convention is over, and I am calling it. Biden wins. You show up to vote, Biden wins the select. I'm about to explain why. Let's get into it. Fill your cups. Let's do this. Pretty much how the entire world felt about the Republican convention. I mean, yeah, I mean this is it right here. That is a perfect picture of how the entire world felt about the Republican convention. I'm calling this for Biden. I am right now. You show up to vote, we win. Period. This is supposed to be their big bump. This is supposed to be the wind in their. It doesn't get any better than this. This is the honeymoon, the excitement, the everything is just supposed to be daisies and chocolates, and everything's supposed to be perfect for them right now. That's what your convention is. We've got our convention coming up next month. It's going to be lit. It is going to rock. It is going to rock. And what is happening? No bump whatsoever. Biden is actually leading. If you go to the polling in the swing states, you take a look at Democratic candidates in swing states, they are moving up in the polls. Biden is actually moving up in the polls. There is no Trump bump. Folks, I cannot explain to you as a politico. I cannot. Hey, thanks, ET. Thanks. Our daily reminder from ET, my friend. Thank you for doing this. Your public service announcement from ET. Check your documentation. I'm going to do an expose on a group called Ziklag. It is a group of billionaires, right-wing frat boy funders that fancy themselves being as religious icons, pastors, that are attacking your right to vote. They're funding groups to challenge your registrations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Please, and thank you, ET, for doing this. I really appreciate you doing this every show. Check your documentation now. Do not wait till right before the election to go verify. But yeah, what we're talking about with the convention. And since we stopped for a side note, let me do this. I am embarrassed for the corporate media right now. I am. I am completely and utterly embarrassed for the corporate media. When this whole thing with Trump, getting his ear grazed first happened, people were identifying the shooter all over social media. And there were a couple of people I trusted that put his name out. So I identified him. And I started to root around, and I found out that everybody was getting that from the New York Post. And I deleted my social media stuff identifying the shooter because I don't trust the New York Post. I don't. They're a tabloid. I don't trust them. I still don't trust them. But as far as news as of late, they've been killing it. They have 100% been killing it. They are the ones that broke the shooter's name, which caused the FBI to confirm who the shooter was, because the FBI wasn't going to do that. The FBI was going to sit on information about this person forever. It's the frickin' New York Post that is breaking all of the major stories. Peter Campbell, my guy, 108 days to the election. Please consider what you absolutely fight for and who is the best choice for that thing to be possible. And vote. Vote for you and our future. Amen, brother. Amen. But yeah, the New York Post has an article out that no one in the corporate media is covering. I want you to imagine, juxtapose this boring, miserable convention with no highlights, nothing special happening at all, just recycled MAGA garbage. But then you've got this story out there that's breaking, but they're not covering it. It's only the New York Post. And kudos to the New York Post, I have to say. Good for them. They have been out in front on all of this and breaking these stories. Thomas Matthew Crook's father was profiled by the Donald Trump campaign. Family had MAGA yard signs. Now, the important part about this story isn't the MAGA yard signs. That's been pretty much, seeping out there, although the corporate media is really not touching it. They just aren't touching it at all. Fox News won't come near that. They pretend like it's COVID. They're not. Nobody, you get these Republicans out there that they tried to shoot our leader, our cult leader, Donald Trump. Who's they? Shouldn't it be we tried to shoot our cult leader? I mean, these people had Trump signs on their front yard, but here's the big story. And this is massive. You heard the two A-bros, the ammosexuals, just raging at the notion of registering their guns. Just raging about it. They don't want to be on a list, man. They don't want to be on a list. They don't want people to have a list of their guns. They don't want to be, they don't want to be profiled. Folks, the people bringing you 2025 project, the fascist takeover of America, has them on a list. And what are they rated by? How much of an ammosexual they are. The New York Post has broken this. It's not the government putting you on a list. It's not a legitimate open source list that you can actually see and have some input on and control. No. It's the people bringing you fascism. In the 2025 project that has you on a list, rating you on a score based on how many guns you own, how much of an ammosexual you are. Yeah, that seems like a relevant story that some people might be interested in. Given the fact that these two A-bros, these ammosexuals, absolutely melt down and freak out at the concept of actually having to register their guns. You are on a list already. They have gone to every single swing state, and they've gone through every single voter, and they rate them by number based on your guns. Where do you think they got that information? And what do you think they're going to do with it? Lori Yates, people are starting to find out the truth. Amen. Amen. What do you think the fascists are going to do if Donald Trump becomes president? They end our democracy. What do you think the fascists are going to do with that information about your gun ownership? Well, if you read a history book, you would know every single time they come take your guns. And if you resist, they kill you. Every single time. I would recommend reading up on Russia's gun laws. You know, these delusional right-wingers have this vision of Russia, you know, everybody's got an AK-47 and they got no people. The only people that have guns like that in Russia are the mafia. It is a years-long process just to get a long gun in Russia. What do you think they're going to do to you? And you're already on the list. They've already analyzed you and assigned you a score based on how much of an ammosexual you are. And you're worried about us because we're telling you we want to ban one type of gun? We're telling you up front, absolutely. We want you to be responsible. We want you to stop your violent rhetoric, and we want to get rid of weapons of war. That's it. You keep everything else. We don't want to know about it. We don't want to hear about it. That is the gun control policy of the Democratic Party. And most of us Democrats aren't even there. Most Democrats don't really give a shit what gun you own. If you would just quit talking about shooting your fellow Americans and encouraging these nutballs to do things like, I don't know, shoot up schools, shoot up dollar stores. But anyways, I am so disappointed in the corporate media. Their coverage of this convention, their coverage of everything going on in the world has been sickening. Brett Mysalos over at Midas Touch had a great post that I shared. It highlighted how much the corporate media is working overtime to try to prop Trump up, and it's not working. It's not working. It's just not working. But yeah, we did have a couple highlights from the RNC. They just weren't good highlights for the Republicans. Francis Rinaldi, I'm telling you right now, go out and vote like your freedom is depending on it, because it is. Amen, brother. Amen. Amen. And I think, again, just to pause the show for a second and talk about a point, that was a great comment. And folks, the reason you're hearing some Democrats say stupid shit right now is they have woken up and they have realized this is a can't lose election. They're not worried about the election. This is a can't lose election. The Republicans, their policies are unacceptable. 100% unacceptable. You want to know how much they know? Sherry Foster says the more people find out about Project 2025, et cetera, the better, I'd say. Exactly. And you want to know how obvious it is that this is a can't lose election if you just show up and vote? What policies did they talk about at their convention? Did you see a 2025 project banner on the stage? Did you hear them even mention abortion? Not a word. Not a word. The RNC forced them to keep it out of their own platform. Yeah. What have they done to run? I'm telling you, folks, this is supposed to be their highlight. This is the top of the mountain. Oh, and I want to warn you folks, stick with me. If we have internet glitches or whatever, I've been in contact with the local my data carrier. They are working on the tower today. So we are switching back and forth. We have had no 5G network. We're switching back and forth. They're repairing it as we speak. We're switching back and forth between the 4G and 5G network, but they can't seem to fix the 5G network. So every time they switch over to the 5G network, I get like a minute-long pause with no data, no nothing, because they can't get the system back up and running because, Texas. Um, we're going to talk more about another Texas failure later. Stay with us. So yeah, if there's a pause, just hang out. We will be back. We will be back. But yeah, folks, I mean, it's just, this convention has been a joke. What were the policies? What were the highlights that they talked to you about? We're going to be great leaders because this. None of it. None of it. They did have some highlights, but they didn't really work out good for them. They got Melania to come out of hiding. Yeah, they got Melania to come out of hiding. But watch this. She absolutely refused. They tried and tried and tried and tried to get her to give. She would not speak at this convention. And watch this, man. This is That's so cringe, man. This is supposed to be their highlight, man. And I'm going to lose. I'm not going to be able to forgive. I'm not going to be able to monetize this show now. I'm going to be relying solely on your donations for this show, because I accidentally left the sound up and there was a song in the background. So they will give me a copyright violation and they will not allow me to monetize this show. My bad, my stupidity. I'm sorry. Another highlight of the show. Another highlight of the show is you had Marjorie Trader Green give a speech. In her bad-built butch body.
And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
Yeah. Oh, my God. When the highlight of your convention is Hulk Hogan, you're screwed. You are screwed. I want you to imagine that. Juxtapose that against people that are going to be at the Democratic convention. And you got Kid Rock and Hulk Hogan. And Dana and I smack my wife White from the UFC. Compare that to what you're going to see at the Democratic convention. Yeah, I am telling you. I'm telling you, man. My guy, I'm telling you. Jake Sellers, they changed the name of 47 now to not Project 2025. Heritage Foundation changed it. Yeah, I told you. They're going to try to sanitize this, folks. They really are. They are running from this like crazy. And Hulk Hogan is more than just sad. Black Anonymous, Hulk Hogan this is so sad. Yeah, he is more than just sad. He is actually the perfect person for them to headline their convention. He is an old man who is bald, just like Trump, who soaks himself in tanning solution, just like Trump. And he is also a piece of crap, just like Trump. For those that don't know, he's talking about Professor Lichtman came out and said, quit screwing around with Joe. and other points. He's spot on about that. He's spot on about it. But that's not today's show. So Hulk Hogan's your guy, huh? Hulk Hogan is your guy. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. He's a lot like Trump. He is a lot like Trump. Wrestler Hulk Hogan fired over race outburst caught on tape. It should be racist outburst caught on tape. For folks, you know, that are not connoisseurs of Hulk Hogan and popular culture, Hulk Hogan got fired from his wrestling gig despite being the guy that, what do you have to do if you're the guy that carries an entire wrestling network? What do you got to do to get fired from that job? Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess. Sharon Reddy says, it was worth it. The only thing from the convention that didn't hurt my ears. Yeah, I'm telling you, this convention was just a joke. But yeah, they got Hulk Hogan up there. Hulk Hogan sues Gawker, right? He sues Gawker. The reason he sued Gawker is Gawker released a videotape of him banging his best friend's wife. Yeah, that's the kind of guy he is. So he sues Gawker for releasing an illegally gotten recording. Thanks, David. I appreciate you, brother. I am sorry about that. It's my fault. I played a clip with music on it. YouTube will automatically flag this now, and all the ad revenues will go to the artist that created that music, even though I only played it for a couple seconds. That's just the way it works. That's just the way it works. Thank you for the support. I appreciate you. DL, thank you, my guy. But yeah, let's talk about Hulk Hogan for a second. So yeah, they release a video. Gawker releases a video of him banging his best friend's wife. So he sues him because in the state he lives in, you've got to have permission. You've got to have consent to record. And then he wins. I mean, over $100 million, he wins. But on that recording was a very racist rant. And I mean seriously racist. So after the case is over, someone leaks the audio from the video. And you can hear Hulk Hogan say the most repugnant thing. And I am not going to read this. I am not going to play the audio tape. I am going to put up an image that has what he says on it. Read it for yourself or don't read it. It is not safe for work. This is your warning. But this is who Hulk Hogan is. And he has sued Gawker again because he's blaming them for releasing this, which comes from the court case, the first court case. But Gawker says, it wasn't us. We didn't do it. You're just litigious. Alan Davis's Newsweek article yesterday said the Republican convention TV, they are way down from their last convention. This has just been a joke. But folks, this is the headliner. This is the guy that's getting the most press. I want you to think about the corporate media and what they're saying and what they're not saying, and why Hulk Hogan is the perfect fit for Donald Trump. This is what was on that recording. I'm going to take a second to let you read that. I'm going to sip some coffee, finish my coffee cup. I'm going to have to blaze out of here in a second to refill my cup. I will not say those words. I will not say those words. So yeah, that's Hulk Hogan. I mean, he's a perfect fit for the Republican convention, is he not? I mean, is he not the perfect? Thank you. Is he not the perfect fit for the Republican convention? Throwing the N-word out there, talking about his daughter, if she's going to sleep with a black man, at least let it be a basketball player that makes a lot of money, and N-word, talking about his own daughter that way. Yeah, I think he's a perfect fit. But, the corporate media, NBC, says, oh, man, he's the greatest part of the Republican convention. Yeah. You understand now why I'm saying, thanks, guys. I really appreciate the support. I really do. Thank you. Why I'm saying this is over. This is done. If you just show up and vote, it's it. Biden wins. President Biden goes into a second term. All you got to do is show up and vote. The Republicans have nothing. Their entire convention, they ran away from everything they're trying to do. They didn't talk about cutting Social Security like they talk about privately amongst themselves. Occasionally slips to the media. They didn't talk about cutting Medicare. They didn't talk about abortion. They were so proud of what they did, killing Roe v. Wade. Didn't come up once in their convention. They literally had a convention running away from everything they stand for. This is over. And the ratings showed it. It was just recycled, same old, stale, tired MAGA trash. And the one time Trump actually did try to talk policy, here, let me show you. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to show you what he said. The one time he actually did try to talk policy, he pulled the Republican switcheroo.
And right now, as we speak, large factories just started, are being built across the border in Mexico. So with all the other things happening on our border, and they're being built by China to make cars and to sell them into our country, no tax, no anything. The United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed for allowing this to happen. And the leader of the United Auto Workers should be fired immediately.
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Do you know why he's saying that? He's doing that thing that Republicans do. See, Republicans don't actually do anything. They're the shiny object party. Their entire existence is to oppose Democrats and everything they do, and then turn around and try to take credit for everything that we do. This is why he's saying that. This is why he's saying that. Joe Biden has already revitalized the auto industry. Joe Biden dumped $2 billion. $2 billion. 1.7 billion of which, as you see here, went to take old auto plants that were shut down by domestic manufacturers and reopen them, help them retool them to make electric vehicles. Already done. Yay, President Biden. Good job. Union strong, brother. That's right. Union strong. So what is Trump doing? Trump floats this BS emptiness. I mean, all of his promises. We're still waiting for that infrastructure bill that was coming in 2 weeks that never came. Everything he promises in 2 weeks and 2 weeks and 2 weeks, he makes empty promises. But what do we have? We've got jobs exploding. We have President Biden actually doing the work. So what's he doing? He's doing exactly what my governor just did. Remember the Chips and Science Act? Remember the show we did where we were talking about all the fabs? For folks who don't know what fabs are, that's for some reason they don't call them factories. They call them fabs. Chip factories. All the fabs that are opening up all over, predominantly in the Southwest and South. So what does my governor do? During a hurricane, he hauls ass to Asia, not to be here to lead, but to go there and try to claim credit for what Joe Biden already did. This is what Republicans do. And this is all he had. That was it. I mean, just mind blown, people. Mind blown. Walter Klopp says, sorry, we've been missing. I was in Pittsburgh for work, and and Gretchen's at summer camp, because I know Gretchen would want to help Texas. Paul saw Gates at the RNC. Gretchen asked, what is that, Daddy? Yeah, that was great, man. If y'all, what he's talking about, I'll throw it in. I wasn't going to cover that in the show, but I'll throw it out there. If y'all don't know, oh my God. If you didn't watch, I didn't watch most of it. And be honest with you, the ratings were horrible. People just didn't watch. But Matt Gaetz showed up, and oh my God, he must have found his plastic surgeon at Mar-a-Lago. People are just having a ball with how bad he looked. The amount of Botox he had his cheeks sucked. They showed side-by-side pictures. His face isn't even the same shape anymore. It's just freaking hilarious how bad the plastic surgery he had was. I mean, just go look at it. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. Char KK says, native Texas and watching you from Thailand. Thailand in the house, baby. Yes. Thanks for all you are doing for Texas, the U.S., and the world. This election has global implications. Amen. That's the end of the show, by the way. Man, I love you people. That's the end of the show, folks, is we're going to actually move to some relevant news. So stick with me. Stick with me. This isn't going to be all RNC bomb all the time. This is the kind of stuff, though, that happened at the RNC. I mean, just amazingly how freaking stupid these people are.
Sadly say,
ready?
It is no wonder that the heroes who stormed the beaches of Normandy and faced down communism sadly say they don't recognize our...
What? Wait a minute. One more time. What was that? One more time.
It is no wonder that the heroes who stormed the beaches of Normandy and faced down communism...
When we stormed the beaches of Normandy, whose side were the communists on? The Soviets, the communists. Whose side were they on? These are the dumbest people I have ever seen. And I mean, all you can do is laugh. All you can do is laugh. Francis Rinaldi in the house. Here you go. Thank you, man. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate all your support. And I'm sorry about the boneheaded maneuver with the music. Trump's makeup was so thick his pits were filled. Yeah. Let me tell you. But folks, correct me if I'm wrong, but the communists, when we stormed the beaches of Normandy, were on our side. We were on their side. We were allies at the time. These are the stupidest people I have ever seen. And the corporate media didn't say a word. Not a word. Not a word. But I will tell you, the independent media, groups like Midas and the Daily Show and things like that are really having a ball with this. This is one of the best cutaways I have ever seen. This is going to make you laugh. Put your coffee cups down. I don't want you to spit your coffee. This is so good. Watch this cutaway. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect.
Unlike the current president, it was not a decision that would enrich his family. Rather, it was unlike the current president.
Wait for it. One more time. Kudos to the Daily Show. This is perfect. Watch the cutaway on the screen.
Unlike the current president, it was not a decision that would enrich his family. Rather, it was
my God. Oh my God. CNN just, and you know, they didn't do that on purpose, man. You know, there was a producer in the booth screaming, veins popping out his neck. Camera 3, got a camera 3. That couldn't have been more perfect. Oh my God, that was freaking hilarious. Oh man, I tell you, that gave me a headache. I laughed so freaking hard when I saw it the first time. Way to go, Daily Show. Way to go. Way to go. That was just perfect. But there was more craziness, and I just want to leave with you. This is not as funny. This just really highlights how insane they are. I mean, in and of itself, the comment really isn't the craziest thing you've ever heard from these people. But when you think about it, and you think about that this is coming from a member of our government, thanks, Maria. I appreciate the support. I really do. Yeah, it's not good, folks. I mean, this is not good. I mean, this kind of stuff really actually gives me pause. I mean, who is she talking to here? Who's the target audience that is buying this stuff?
Seems like God's hand is on his shoulder.
I believe it. I believe we all witnessed a miracle, literally. From, before it happened, the flag above got blown in the wind and it got tied into literally what looked like an angel. Did you see that video?
I didn't see it.
Oh my gosh, you guys have to find that. It was truly, it was like an angel coming down, and it was the American flag tied. They had to bring it down, and all the people in the stands helped unravel it. And it was literally before he came out on the stage.
The flag became an angel. And that was Breitbart, by the way. The flag became an angel, and all the people had to come out and kill the angel. What is the message here, man? Who is buying this stuff? I mean, even, we've got some really great, honest to goodness Christians in our audience. How does that make you feel? Hearing nuts. It wasn't an angel. It was God's intervention. Apparently God didn't like the firemen, and God didn't like the other people that were severely injured, but he just, he was busy. He's only God. He could only save one of them. So he only saved Trump. These people, man. And the scary part is, and this is why I keep putting that qualifier on it. If you show up to vote, we got this. It's a lock. We win. But there are these people out there. She's not saying that just because. She's grifting people. And the other part of that equation is there are people out there buying that gift. Folks, you got to show up to vote. You have got to show up to vote. You really do. And let me just, this is going to be a bit of a long video. This is from George Conway. I mean, God, imagine, times change. You got George Clooney attacking our president, and George Conway, Kellyanne Conway's husband, helping our president. The times we live in. This is going to be a bit of a long video, but please stick with me. It is good. Every single second of this video is good. He has come out with a new PAC, and this is the introduction video for that PAC. I want you to stick with me through the whole thing.
Hi, I'm George Conway. This is the most important election of our lifetimes, and I'm sorry to say the most important issue in that election isn't being addressed, and it's not Joe Biden's age. Without a doubt, the cognitive ability and mental health of a president or presidential candidate are extremely important issues. Democrats and the media are right to ask questions about Joe Biden after the bad night he had at the recent debate. But there's a double standard being applied here, a huge one. And it's not just that Donald Trump, who's himself 78, is also showing his age. We've all seen videos of Trump slurring words
And really anonymous.
And then they announced there was no buys, no.
A beautiful criminal United States.
and rambling nonsensically about sharks and electrocution.
You know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time.
Hannibal Lecter.
The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He's a wonderful man.
But Trump has a bigger problem, and it's not his age. It's the fact that Donald Trump has never been right in the head. I'll let others who know him explain.
He's a populist, authoritarian narcissist.
He is a consummate narcissist.
Governor Chris Sununu called Trump crazy, but
adding, I don't think he's so crazy he should be in a mental institution, but if he were in one, he ain't getting out.
He goes and he starts to say these wacky things. That's what scares everybody about him.
Our country can't be a therapy session for a troubled man like this.
John Kelly sought guidance from a book in which 27 mental health professionals warned that Donald Trump was psychologically unfit.
This man is a pathological liar, a narcissist at a level I don't think this country's ever seen.
Donald Trump's problem is he's just nuts. And he's not simply eccentric or odd in a good way. He's unwell, mentally unwell, in a dangerous way. He is indeed a pathological narcissist on a level we have never before seen. He's a malignant narcissist who is also a sociopath or psychopath. What these terms mean is that Trump is a man who cares about nothing but himself. Not you, not the country, not the laws and constitution that a president swears to faithfully execute. And it also means that Trump is a pathological liar and that he lacks any moral conscience or capacity for remorse. These are the psychological characteristics of dangerous cult leaders and dictators. They shouldn't be the traits of an American president. Now, you haven't heard any of this discussed very much in the media. And that's because too many people are afraid of talking about mental health issues, particularly Donald Trump's. Here's an example. This is a book, a memoir, written by a fine and accomplished journalist who was for many years executive editor of the Washington Post. In it, he explains how in 2019 he was urged to have the newspaper tackle head-on the issue of whether Trump was mentally ill. And he explained that this was the final taboo in covering presidents. In the end, he, along with a lot of others in the media, decided not to break that taboo. And the public remains uninformed. And not only that, the failure to treat Trump's behavior as pathological has led the media and the country, perversely, to treat his behavior as normal. And that's a big reason why we're seeing the double standard that's being applied to the candidates today. And that's the problem we're here to address. To understand Donald Trump, why he's unfit for office, and why he's a danger to the republic, you have to understand his psychological disorders. Trump's malignant narcissism explains everything about him. It explains his pathological lying.
It's a rigged election. It's the only way we're going to lose.
His misogyny.
Grab him by the pussy.
His racism.
You had very fine people.
Jews will not replace us!
On both sides.
His authoritarianism. His endless quests for vengeance. His love for dictators. It may even explain his recent praise of Hannibal Lecter. It certainly accounts for his criminality. 4 indictments on 88 counts in 4 courts. And a conviction in one of those courts on 34 counts. 34. Imagine that, a former president. All of this is why I'm pleased to announce the formation of the Anti-Psychopath Political Action Committee, or Anti-Psychopath for short. I'm putting my own money behind this PAC. $343,434.34 to be exact, and we'll be raising a lot more. We're going to use those resources to educate the American public about Trump's psychological unfitness for office. With the help of mental health professionals, we're going to explain how his condition poses a grave danger to our country. And we're going to encourage the media to start talking about what it should have been talking about years ago. We're also going to highlight examples of Trump's psychologically aberrant behavior as they happen, which might very well get under his skin enough to help illustrate the very points we're making. So although this is a very serious subject, we may actually have a little fun along the way. We hope you join us. Join us in learning about the dangers of Donald Trump's derangement. Join us in spreading the word. Join us by contributing, to pick a number, $34, or less if you like, or more if you can. Join us and spread the word. This country is too wonderful and important to be turned back over to a madman. Learn more at psychopac.org.
Just as a point of disclosure, we'll be making a donation on behalf of the Texas Paul Potheads to his PAC. Do you see why? Couple points after that. And thank you for the support, Trina Long. I really appreciate you. Our Denmark audience here, our European audience here, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate you. Until he sees them on stage together, I hypothesize that Hulk Hogan and the empty flatulator are the same person. Yeah. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. Philip Alipur, great follow online. Thanks for the support, my friend. But yeah, we're going to be making a donation on behalf of the Texas Paul Potheads to George Conway's PAC. Do you see now why the guy's a fantastic lawyer? His ability to, he's a great orator. He really is. His ability to make arguments. This is why we're going to win. This is why the corporate media can't figure it out, why they can't control the narrative, why they can't sway people, because you've got everyday people that have stepped up and said, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not going to put this psychopath back in the office just because you've got some corporate-owned media that wants to make $16 billion in this election cycle on ad money. We're not going to do it. But that was fantastic video, don't you think? Don't you? I mean, I am going to support his work. We're going to make a donation on your behalf to his PAC. I think it's worth it. I think guys like him and the Lincoln Project are out there doing the work that needs to be done. Just needs to be done. Because I have to tell you, this has real world consequences, folks. This has real world consequences. And I'll give you a perfect example. Evan Gershkovich. He was just convicted. For folks that don't know, Evan Gershkovich is a journalist. He's a journalist that was working in Russia. He was one of the retaliation arrests that the Russian government makes. They basically just kidnap people on the regular to blackmail us into giving them something to release these people. It is regular mafia behavior. They're accusing him of being a spy. They didn't produce any evidence at his trial, yet convicted him of espionage. Just some inside baseball, folks. There's SIGINT and there's human. Signal intelligence and human intelligence. Human intelligence is gathered. That's the spy game. That's the spy game. Do you know who is never a spy? Who is never used as a spy? A journalist. And let me explain why. You've all seen these secret shoppers, right? You've seen these secret shoppers in stores. Janelle, thanks for the support. I really appreciate you. I'm riding with Biden, baby. But you've seen secret shoppers, right? You've busted them out before. The people that walk around stores and watch people to see if they're shoplifting. Using a journalist as a spy would be the equivalent of that secret shopper, who are oftentimes they're off-duty police officers working a second gig, would be them walking around in their police uniform trying to be a secret shopper. Duh. Journalists are not spies. They are never spies because of what they do for a living. It's literally trying to use a journalist as a spy would literally be like trying to use a cop in his uniform as a secret shopper. It does not work that way. But Russia kidnapping Americans and Europeans and holding them for ransom because they're a terrorist mafia state really does happen. And Evan Gershkovich just got convicted, and they're not making a deal for Trump. because Trump opened his big, fat, fried chicken smelling mouth. Just like he blew up the border deal down here that would have got us technology and beefed up our courts. He just got Evan Gershkovich thrown into a horrible Russian prison, folks. This has real world implications for people. It's dangerous. You have to vote. You have to vote. This fascism is going to be brutal. What they do when he's in office is going to be brutal. It is going to cost untold numbers of people their lives. It's not just, you know, I enjoy making fun of Hulk Hogan because he's a bigot and he's a clown. He's a joke. He's, you know, what is this, 1980? You know, I enjoy dunking on the Republicans. I really do, because of their failures and the fact that they're getting no bump out of this convention, that it's just freaking hilarious to look at them, to watch them flail and fail. Okay, that's all fun and games. That's fun. But it's got real world implications, and people are really getting hurt. And it's going to change the world. Our European audience, I would, you know, Trina, I appreciate your support, but I need you to do something else, because the most important thing isn't the money and supporting me. It's you being here. Talk to these people. Trina Longa, talk to these people in chat. Explain to them what's going on in Europe and how Europe is watching this election. This changes the world, folks. Phantom Pup, good to see you, my friend. Happy to see Conway speaking out, as is the Lincoln Project. Yeah, I got to tell you, George Conway is a highly effective lawyer. He really is. I hated when he was on the other side. You know, it's like people, I tell you about Frank Luntz. People are like, and they're dismissive of Frank Luntz. I'm like, don't do that. I hate that guy, but he's really freaking good at what he does. Don't dismiss it. To have one of these guys working for us against Trump, priceless. Priceless. I appreciate it, Michael Thomas. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Doris, thanks for the support. But there is more news happening. Much more news happening. Starting with the Black Sea. The Russians just moved the last of their fleet out of Sevastopol. I want to brag on our president for a little bit. You know, his foreign policy has been amazing. You know, we've seen the domestic policy. We've seen the incredible job numbers. We've seen inflation come down. We've seen the economy. We just set another record, 41,000 in the Dow, never been done before. I mean, just one thing after another, after another, after another, after another. The Joe keeps getting done. And the corporate media is not going to tell you about it. They're just not going to tell you about it. Well, this is going on, and this is, as Joe Biden would say, a big fucking deal. I'll go ahead and say it because, you know, we're not going to get this monetized anyways. What are they going to do, right? Folks, this is happening right now. The Russians have moved their fleet out of Sevastopol because the Ukrainians are destroying their navy. Ukraine doesn't have a navy. Their navy is a bunch of freaking drones and little service ships. They don't have a navy. The Russians took it all. But we have NATO allies on the Black Sea, Turkey, Romania, and Bulgaria, that are on the Black Sea. The Russians have just claimed the Black Sea. That's ours. We're not going to have NATO here at all. Well, Turkey, Romania, and Bulgaria have stepped up and said, you know what? No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to let you close these shipping lanes to Ukraine. We're not going to let you cripple world grain exports because you're a pouty little bully country. And our NATO allies are moving into Ukrainian waters right now, working on an anti-mining operation as a NATO-flagged operation. That is huge, folks. That is huge. And I'm going to make a prediction for you. You're going to see in the next month or so, we'll come back and visit it. I want you to pin this. You're going to see a major U.S. naval presence move through the Bosphorus Straits and into the Black Sea. Because the Russians have their tails tucked between their legs, and there's only one reason that has happened. And that is because Joe Biden has reconstituted the strength of NATO. He has supported our Ukraine. He has supported our NATO allies, and he has backed Putin down. And there's not a damn thing they can do about it. They're going to act like terrorists like they always do. There'll be some terrorist attack somewhere. And I promise you they're working on another caravan. But that's it. They're a joke. They're done. They've lost over 500,000 men in Ukraine. They've just lost their 100th top-of-the-line battle tank in Ukraine. 100. Do you know how much? I mean, that is a significant number, folks. A significant number. And it's more. It's more. There's more happening. Putin is destroyed because of Joe Biden and our allies, our European allies, working together, hand in hand. This is what's going on in France, folks. For folks that don't follow European politics or just new to the show, Emmanuel Macron just called an election. Just like here, all the bedwetters went crazy. All the bedwetters went nuts. Oh my God, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. And then the first round of voting came and the right wingers won a few elections. The Nazis, the fascists, Marine Le Pen, they won a few elections in the first round, which is inconsequential. It didn't mean anything. But, you know, the media, the corporate media was just all up in that Kool-Aid. What are you hearing from now from the corporate media about France? If it's not serving Putin's interests, if it's not serving the Republican interests, you don't hear shit. Let me tell you, Macron is killing it. Macron is killing it. This just happened. Little catch up on the election. Okay. The left, the whole point of this election from Macron, the strategy was to clear the decks. There was so much bickering and infighting, and Macron knew they're facing an existential threat in Europe from Russia. They don't have time for the same old fights, the same old complaints, the same old small men, small women with small arguments. So he said, we're going to do this. And he called for an election. And it worked beautifully. It worked beautifully. The left, the center left, which is Macron and his party, and the far left, we talked about this, had to work together or they were going to get killed in the election. And they did. He was absolutely right. They stopped the bickering. They stopped the infighting. They worked together. They pulled candidates out of the races so that they weren't splitting votes. And they destroyed Le Pen and her fascist right in the election. Well, now they have to form a government. And the far left, and this is what today's news is. This is what today's Jean Lane says, it's not often I get to be with be with you while you're live. I so appreciate your show and your knowledge. Grateful for you and this audience. Gives you best audience anywhere, best group anywhere on the internet. The most informed people, upbeat, always know what's going on. I'm telling you, you are the best group anywhere on the internet. You're the best community there is, period. I'm glad you're here. Thank you, Texas Paul, for the work you do. It is my pleasure and privilege to be here with you. It is my pleasure and privilege to be here with you, and I thank you. But this back to what we were talking about. I don't want to lose it. This is what just happened. They're forming their government, and of course, the corporate media, Macron's going to be, oh my God, his faction didn't win all, dominant power. He's screwed. Oh no. Oh no. Macron knows what the hell he's doing. Absolutely. The far left. This is what happened. The far left started their nonsense again. They're like, well, you're going to give us, and when I say far left, I mean the far left in France is communist. I mean, they are communists. They're not just, we're not just talking about like socialism, which I don't have a problem with socialism to me, you've got capitalism and business, but socialism in the government, that's what it is. That's your roads being built. That's your Social Security. Socialism should be what our medicine is. I don't, like a lot of people, I don't hear the word socialism and freak out. Communism, not so much. Not a communist here. I don't mind a little socialism. I don't. I think the best government is a mix of capitalism and socialism. Period. That's where I'm at. Communism, not so much. The far left in France really has communists in it. And they started their nonsense, and Macron slapped the crap out of him. This is what he did. He said, okay, you want to do that? I'll make a deal. And he went over the line and went to the right. He went to the center right. And he said, boys, you want the communist dictating policy? And they went, nope. And guess how they voted? They voted with Macron. And they just reelected Yael Braun-Pivet, who is, they have kind of a hybrid that's kind of, if you took the British Parliament and our system, our two-party system, and you smashed it together and made a baby, that's kind of what they have in France. So they have what she would be kind of like, if I had to give the best example, would be kind of like their Speaker of the House. Yeah, she was just reelected. This is Macron's gal. They ran the chamber before. They run it now. Yael Braun-Pivet was just handily reelected to her post. The guy knew what he was doing. France is not the chaotic state it once was. Emmanuel Macron said, enough. We are facing an existential threat from the Russians. They are bribing people. Their corruption is seeping into every frickin' government. We are not doing this. And it's working amazingly. Amazingly. And if you go look and read the stories from the corporate media, everything was doom and gloom. Macron's finished. Oh, he's just finished. He's done. No, baby. Oh, no. No. That man knows what the hell he's doing. Knows what the hell he's doing. That's really going on. Well, you got Hulk Hogan and Kid Rock and big old bandages on their ears and that kind of stupidity and silliness. Juxtapose those two things, what's really going on in the world and what is going on at with the Republicans. And you understand why the first thing I said when this show started was, we got this. We got this. Jersey, Iowa, I appreciate you. 3434 to the Psycho PAC. The rest of you, thanks as always for keeping this Jersey woman in Texas informed and calm. You rock, Miss Cat. It's my job. That's my job. That's what I do. You let me do it full time. Thank you. Nancy Stinger. They are in an alternative universe. They really are. Look at reality. And yes, please subscribe. I really do appreciate the support. You know I am grateful, sincerely grateful for all the support, but that ain't why we're here. We're here for the message. We're here to do something good. And you do that by subscribing so that you get the information that comes to you. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't gum up the works in your YouTube. All it does is it puts me on your list of people to see. So please, yes, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. It helps us in the algorithm, and it helps other people that wouldn't normally be shown this show. And look, I want you to feel good about things, but folks, people don't vote to say thank you. They don't. That is just a political rule. We're going to, over the next few weeks, you're going to just see a list after thing, after thing, after thing, after thing, after thing, after thing. All right. A comment just come up. I got to pause the show. And I got to address this elephant in the room. We are ride or die Democrats. Adam Schiff didn't come out and make a statement. Fox News came out and characterized his statement. Fox News came out and said this. This was not an official statement released from Adam Schiff. No, we are not going to cancel Adam Schiff. I am not going to kick everybody out of the show that's panicked about this Russian op, this push that's going on, just because someone says something stupid. When Katie Porter lost, she came out like a blowtorch. And I will say the same thing about Adam Schiff that I said about Katie Porter. You're saying stupid stuff. Stop. But Katie's one of ours. So is Adam Schiff. I'm not going to undermine the Democratic Party. I'm not going to allow division to come into my community. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm not, please understand. I am grateful for the comment. Thank you. I'm very grateful for the comment. But no, we're not going to allow them to tear us apart. We are Democrats. We know that going forward, you got two choices. You got fascism and you got Democrats. You got freedom and democracy, or you got Democrats. It's that simple. I don't care if a Democrat screws up. That's who we vote for. So yeah, we're not going to be canceling Democrats. Not on my watch, okay? I will always speak out about that. And please be mindful. These statements that you're hearing, this is a Russian op funneled through social media and the right-wing media. A lot of these statements that you're hearing are not coming from their people, are not coming directly from these people. They're not even legitimate statements from these people. They're right-wing media that says they said it. Since when do we trust right-wing media? Don't fall for the op, folks. You know who I believe? Joe Biden. I'm riding with Biden, baby. I believe what Joe Biden says. He's been serving me as president. He has been doing an amazing job in taking care of me. I got his back just like he has mine. Amen. Can I get an amen? Where we were heading before we took that left turn was this. Elections have consequences. Elections have consequences. We just had a study conducted by a nonpartisan group that focuses on healthcare. It's called the Commonwealth Fund. Look it up, Google it. Do the background search yourself. I'm telling you, they're a nonpartisan group that focuses on healthcare. And they did a study on women's healthcare. And it just couldn't be more stark. The differences between Republicans and Democrats. It's just painful. The best and worst states for women's health, according to a new report from the Commonwealth Fund. The 3 top performing states, blue states. New England blue states. Massachusetts, Vermont, and Rhode Island. Top 3. Go down to the rest of the 50 states. You get to the bottom 3. Oklahoma, Texas, and Mississippi. Republicans. Republican-run states. Always. Elections have consequences, folks. And this is why they're fighting so freaking hard to stop this blue wave. This is why the billionaires are in full freak-out mode. Connecticut's up on the list, folks. I'm just doing the top 3 and the bottom 3. It's all 50 states listed. Folks, there is no both sidism. We are very different people with very different objectives, and this is what I'm going to leave you with. Right now, you have the Billionaire Frat Boy Club in full freak-out mode. They know what's coming. They know we're going to tax the shit out of them. We are. We have work to do on our infrastructure. We're going to fundamentally change our society so that our government focuses on the welfare of the people first. The government is supposed to serve the people, not just 10 billionaires. That's why they're fighting so hard to keep Joe out of the White House, to keep him from having a second term. Because Trump and the 2025 Project puts their fascist asses in control of our country. And folks, MAGA morons are more than willing to do it. This isn't new. Republicans have been running my state for 25 years, and these people have seen the destruction of our schools, our highways, our infrastructure. They just saw a Category 1 hurricane with 75-mile-an-hour winds decimate Houston and its power grid. That's not supposed to happen. And it happened because we have Republicans here that do not regulate any corporation. They advertise the fact that they do not regulate any corporation. Lilu Dragon, will you make a short saying that what you said earlier about winning the election if we must vote? Yes, I'll be making that several times. I will. Thanks, Lilu Dragon. I appreciate the support. So yeah, that's what I want to leave you with, folks. The clown show's over. It got them nothing. I'm calling this election right now. Joe Biden wins. All you got to do is show up and vote and make it happen. That's it. I mean, that's it. Like ET reminds you every day, check your registration. Make sure you're good to go because they know they've got to cheat. They know they've got to cheat. So they're going to try. Volunteer with organizations. Support organizations doing good work. Phone bank. Do everything you need to do. And we will kill the 2025 project in its crib. we will kill it in its crib. It will never grow. I love you folks. That's what I've got for you today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the support. I appreciate you. I hope the internet wasn't too bad. Like I said, they're working on it right now. There are probably some pauses throughout the show as they switch back and forth between the 4G and 5G network here. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you're feeling as good as I am watching that clown show and knowing our convention's next month. That's going to rock. It's going to be great. Mike, you get the last word, my friend. Michael McAndrews, you get the last word. Riding with Biden, baby. Let's do this. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.